Welcome to today's history, where we journey through time to relive the events that shaped our world. On this day, May 1st, history echoed with revolutions, groundbreaking discoveries, and powerful global shifts. From labor strikes that changed work forever to iconic architectural achievements and political milestones, let's dive into the stories that made this day unforgettable. Chapter 1: Acts of Union. The birth of Great Britain. 1707. May 1st, 1707 marks a defining moment in European history, the official unification of the kingdoms of England and Scotland through the Acts of Union. This monumental agreement created the United Kingdom of Great Britain, ending centuries of rivalry and forging a new political entity. The creation of Great Britain on this day wasn't just about joining two nations, it was about rewriting the course of world history. The union wasn't just symbolic, it brought together parliaments, economies, and military forces. For England, it meant strengthened security and economic growth. For Scotland, it opened doors to colonial trade and influence, though not without controversy. This powerful new state would soon become one of the most dominant empires in global history, shaping everything from politics and language to commerce and culture for generations to come. Chapter 2: Linnaeus publishes Species Plantarum. 1753. On May 1st, 1753, Swedish botanist Carl Linnaeus forever changed the scientific world with the publication of Species Plantarum. This groundbreaking work introduced a system of naming organisms using two Latin names, genus and species, known as binomial nomenclature. Before Linnaeus, plant classification was inconsistent and confusing, often relying on long descriptive phrases. But with Species Plantarum, the natural world was organized in a clear, standardized way for the first time. His system not only simplified how we name and categorize plants, but also laid the foundation for modern taxonomy in biology as a whole. Today, every plant, animal, and microorganism studied by scientists is named using the system Linnaeus created over 250 years ago. His work helped unlock a deeper understanding of biodiversity and paved the way for countless scientific discoveries. Chapter 3: The first postage stamp, penny black. 1840. On May 1st, 1840, the world saw a quiet revolution in communication with the release of the very first adhesive postage stamp, the penny black. Issued in the United Kingdom, this small piece of paper bore the image of Queen Victoria and was valued at 1 penny, making it accessible to nearly everyone. Though it officially went into use on May 6th, the introduction of the penny black symbolized a major turning point. For the first time, the sender, not the recipient, paid for mail delivery. This innovation standardized and simplified the postal system, paving the way for affordable communication across great distances. The impact of the penny black rippled across the globe, inspiring other nations to adopt their own postage stamps. It wasn't just a stamp, it was the beginning of modern, accessible communication for all. Chapter 4: Start of labor strikes for 8-hour workday. 1886. On May 1st, 1886, the streets of America roared with the voices of over 300,000 workers demanding one simple, powerful change: an 8-hour workday. At a time when many toiled for 10, 12, even 16 hours a day, this movement represented a radical stand for dignity, balance, and fairness in labor. Organized strikes erupted in cities across the country, with Chicago becoming the epicenter of the protests. Though largely peaceful at first, tensions escalated in the days that followed, culminating in the tragic Haymarket Affair, a violent clash between police and demonstrators that left deep scars on the labor movement. Despite the violence, the message endured. The events of May 1st, 1886, echoed across borders and continents, eventually leading to the global recognition of May Day, International Workers' Day, as a symbol of solidarity and the ongoing fight for workers' rights. What began as a strike in one nation became a rallying cry for labor justice around the world. Chapter 5: May Day becomes International Workers' Day. 1889. May 1st took on a new, global significance in 1889, when the Second International, an organization of socialist and labor parties from across the world, officially declared it International Workers' Day. This declaration came just 3 years after the 1886 labor strikes and the Haymarket Affair in Chicago, which had drawn global attention to the cause of working-class struggles. By choosing May 1st, they honored those who had sacrificed their lives for the right to fair working hours, safer conditions, and the basic dignity of labor. The day became not only a remembrance, but a call to action, rallying millions of workers around the world to stand up for justice, equality, and solidarity. Over time, May Day evolved into a symbol of resistance and pride for the labor movement across continents. From peaceful marches to powerful demonstrations, this date continues to unite workers under a shared cause, reminding the world that the rights we enjoy today were hard-fought and never guaranteed. As each May 1st, as voices rise and flags wave, we remember the spirit of labor lives on, and the struggle for justice never ends. Chapter 6. Empire State Building officially opens. 1931. On May 1st, 1931, the Empire State Building officially opened its doors in New York City, standing as the tallest structure in the world at the time. Rising 1,250 feet above the streets of Manhattan, this architectural marvel quickly became a global symbol of American innovation, determination, and the unbreakable spirit of the people even in the darkest of times. Built in just over a year during the height of the Great Depression, the project employed thousands of workers, offering jobs and hope during a period of massive unemployment and economic despair. Its construction was not only an engineering feat, but also a testament to what human effort and ambition could achieve against all odds. For decades, the Empire State Building stood as the tallest man-made structure on Earth, capturing imaginations and inspiring millions. Featured in countless films, photos, and postcards, it came to represent the very soul of New York City: bold, relentless, and always reaching for the sky. To this day, May 1st remains etched in history as the birth of an icon that continues to define an entire skyline and a nation's pride. Chapter 7. U-2 Spy Plane Incident. 1960. On May 1st, 1960, high above Soviet territory, an American U-2 spy plane piloted by France's Gary Powers was shot down by a Soviet surface-to-air missile. The mission, intended to gather intelligence on Soviet military installations, was top secret. But when Powers was captured alive, the US could no longer deny its involvement. The incident sent shockwaves around the world. It was a major embarrassment for the United States and a turning point in the Cold War. Just weeks before a highly anticipated US-Soviet summit, tensions between the two superpowers soared. Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev publicly exposed the espionage effort, demanding an apology from President Eisenhower, an apology that never came. As a result, the Paris summit collapsed before it even began, marking a sharp escalation in Cold War hostilities. The U-2 crisis exposed the fragile nature of diplomacy during this volatile period and reminded the world just how close the two powers were to the edge of open conflict. Chapter 8. EU's largest expansion. 2004. On May 1st, 2004, the European Union witnessed its largest expansion to date. 10 new countries officially joined the bloc. These included Poland, Hungary, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Slovenia, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Malta, and Cyprus. This moment wasn't just about borders and treaties, it symbolized the healing of a divided continent. Many of these nations had been behind the Iron Curtain during the Cold War, and their entry into the EU marked a clear break from decades of Soviet influence. The expansion significantly reshaped the political and economic landscape of Europe. It created new opportunities for trade, mobility, and cooperation, while also posing challenges in terms of integration and governance. But above all, it was a bold step toward unity and peace, turning the vision of a more connected, collaborative Europe into a reality. The expansion significantly reshaped the political and economic landscape of Europe. It created new opportunities for trade, mobility, and cooperation, while also posing challenges in terms of integration and governance. But above all, it was a bold step toward unity and peace, turning the vision of a more connected, collaborative Europe into a reality. Thanks for joining us on this historical journey. If you found it fascinating, we invite you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a date with the past. There's always more to explore, more to remember, and more stories that deserve to be told. We'll see you next time right here on Today's History.